Okay, the sisters are turning 6 weeks, or 16 weeks tomorrow. And so we've been wanting to upgrade their food container for a while now. We finally got all the parts yesterday. And so, as you can see, it's right there. There's nothing in it right now, so they're just having fun with it. But I was concerned about the wasted amount in the food. So when you pour it in there, there's always a certain amount of food that's still in there. And then you just pour on top of it, and etc. And I was concerned that there was going to be a lot of what I would call dead food in there, where it would just sit. So what we did on the small one here, let me go ahead and open it. All right, this is their small Rent-A-Coop one that they've been using since they're out here. And what I was concerned is when the sides here would go all the way down to where there was, quote, no more food, these would fill up to about here, and the center was really big here, and it was nothing but wasted food in there, which was about half. So what I did was we just got a funnel. As you can see, it's sitting in there right now. And so it does twofold. The funnel itself has less friction than the food, so it slides down better. And it reduces the dead volume in there. So let me empty this out. I'll put it into the big one. Or let me show you the big one first, then I'll empty it out. Okay, so here's the big one that's empty. Let me move it up because they're kind of loud. That we got a funnel off of Amazon, and so I put the funnel in there, covered it up with white duct tape. Hey, I'm trying to talk here. I covered up with white duct tape, so then now there should be very little wasted food in this. And so let me take this and let me dump the food from the other one into this one, and then you can see what the other one looked like. Okay, so this is what this one looked like. We just got a funnel from inside the house, and we just put it in there. And so it fits nice and snug. You could pick it up, so it's not gonna come loose. And as you can tell, there wasn't that much extra volume. Then in here, as you can see, I just dumped the food from the one into the other one. And now you can see where it's going to be. If I remember right, these are all Rent-A-Coop stuff. Andrea is not here right now, so she'll probably correct me when she watches this video later. But let me switch these out and fill it up with food. Okay, so I just dumped the food from our storage bucket, which was right there. So now it's full. This is going to constitute the last of their feeder food. After this, we're going to switch them over to layer pellets. Obviously, I spilled a little bit on the ground over here, so they're helping me out, because that's what they do. And now it's ready. So they should be able, they've been using that type of feeder system ever since they've been out here, so they should have no problem with it. They'll probably start using it once the scrap off the floor is taken care of. So now we have a 5-gallon bucket with water, and we got our 5-gallon bucket for food. And while I'm in here, let me show you a couple other things. Okay, here's our grit container. We got a grit container that could have 3 different compartments to it. So we got normal grit here, we have crushed eggshells here, and then this is some type of calcium thing. I don't know if it's crushed shells, like seashells or oysters or something. But now they have 2 forms of calcium, and they have their grit. These came from the eggs we've been using. We saved the eggshells, Andre has some inside drying. And then once they're dry, she throws them in the oven to kill any bacteria. Then we crush them. So that's what those eggshells are. So then now we take the eggshells, feed them back to the sisters. Sisters get more calcium. Then they can make better eggs. So since they're 16 weeks now, oh, hold on. Since they're 16 weeks now, if they're a production bird, because they might be cinnamon queens, which are a production bird, they can start laying as early as 16 weeks. Now, as you can see, their wattles are, a couple of them are kind of red, but they're still pinkish. So we don't think they're ready yet, but they might start laying in the next week or two. So if they're not cinnamon queens, if there's something else, they will start laying a little later. Will you be quiet? I'm trying to talk. All right, she evidently did not like being told to quiet. Wow. All right, let me get out of here. Hold on. All right, maybe they'll be a little quieter now. Sheesh. One thing with the cinnamon queens have a tendency to be very boisterous and noisy, from what I read, so they might be cinnamon queens. If they also might be some sort of green egger. There's about 3 or 4 different breeds of chicken that they could be. So we just have to see when they're going to lay and what color eggs they're going to lay. Because if they're not brown eggs, they're not going to be cinnamon queens. Obviously, if they're green eggs, they'll be some sort of green egger. So, sorry, Sherlock can't be upstaged too much on a video. He always has to do bad stuff. So, but anyway, before I got interrupted by the sisters, we have our grit container over there. Then I finally went ahead and made my broomstick perch, where all it is a broomstick that we bought at Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere. And I just took a 2x4 and cut it into 4 pieces and made a little sawhorse thing out of it and then screwed it together. It took them a while to get used to it, but they go up there and chill out every once in a while. And so they seem to enjoy it. And we also finished the nesting area, so let me show you that real quick. Okay, you can't see it too well because I'm inside the coop, or at least the phone is, but we opened up 2 of the nesting boxes. Then Andrea had, she bought some aspen flakes, which is supposedly the best type of flakes. Don't quote me on that. And then we have our fake eggs in here. So Andrea wanted to have a green egg, so we got a green egg and a brown egg. Those are the fake eggs. So we're letting them start to investigate what the nesting boxes are. So hopefully when they start laying, they'll lay in there. And we have the fake eggs in there, so if they start pecking them, they're ceramic and they won't be able to break them. So hopefully they'll be taught, don't bother pecking at the eggs because you're not going to break them. Because if they figure out they can break the eggs, then we'll probably have very few eggs ourselves because they'll probably break and eat them. And that's exactly what we don't want to have happen. Okay. Now I'm opening up storage area here. And as you can see, well, you can't really see because I don't have the phone, and of course Sherlock's in the way. Why? Because that's what he does. Sherlock's right there, by the way. So here's the cover on the nesting box. We got a carabiner for it, and then we open them up, and then there's the nesting boxes themselves. And as you can see, these two are open. It was kind of funny because when I opened it up and there were like 4 chickens just looking at me of like, what are you doing? So now they can be able to check out the nesting boxes. And more importantly, I put dividers in here. Like if you can see it there, I have dividers in between them. So they're not going to go in between the nesting boxes. So they have a small hole and they have their little private area. So hopefully that should be good enough for them to start laying. Oh, hold on, let me get this thing back on. Okay, and that's what it looks like when it's closed. And the good thing about this, most of the time, I don't have the doors open very much. So if I have like one door open and one door closed, we could just open this up a little bit, see if there's any eggs, and if there's none, just shut it back up where we don't have to go through a whole bunch of rigmarole. And so let me shut it down now. All right, now both dogs are in the way. So, all right, let me close this. Hold on a second. Ladies, are you gonna be able to figure the food out? Are you smarter than the average chicken? So, all right, you guys figure the food out. I'll come back later and see if you guys actually figured it out. Okay, I'm back inside now, and we had eggs for breakfast this morning. Andrea's mother was here, and Andrea's sister flew out from Las Vegas, which is where she lives. And so we had breakfast this morning, which of course included eggs. So Andrea rinsed them out, and now they're drying. Then as soon as they're dry, she sticks them in the oven and kills off the bacteria. Then she has a little crusher which grinds them up into what you saw that was in the coop or in the run. So that's how we deal with the crushed eggs. All right, lady sometimes likes to be stubborn, so she plays this little game. She especially plays it with Andrea, where Andrea physically has to go out and chase her back in. I don't play the game. Lady, come on. Oh, here she comes. All right, good girl. All right, now that Lady graced us with her presence, I wanted to show you the funnel and everything, assuming Andre didn't squirrel it away somewhere. All right, sorry about that. Andrea stole the other funnel. I have no idea where it is. So what I wanted to show you is, here is our new wheat supply. We were using wheat that was red wheat. We were using it that we would make cream of wheat and stuff with it. But we started, that's what we're actually growing over here, is that red wheat. Well, that red wheat is like $7 a pound. And I'm like, we go through all the trouble of growing this, and it's no cheaper than the feed that we give them. And I'm like, you know, that's not really doable, because one of the main reasons for the wheat was to have it to where it would be cheaper. So we were at a local feed store Friday, and we had to get a couple of things, and Andrea asked him and said, do you have wheat? And she goes, how much do you want? 50 pounds? And Andrea's like, yeah. And she's like, that's $14.50. And Andrea and I kind of looked at each other, and I'm like, yes, please. So the wheat I showed you came from a 50-pound bag of wheat, and that far side container with the gamma lid is full, and then the other one was mostly full, which is the one I just had open. And so we got all of that wheat for $14.50. So Andrea is switching over to that wheat, see if we can get it to germinate and see if it can grow as good as the other wheat did. There's no reason why it would not. The only difference is Andrea said it might not be red wheat, it might be, I think she said white wheat or some other type of wheat. And so it might not be as nutritious to the chickens, but all I know is that for $14.50 we would have got 2 pounds versus 50 pounds. And the other thing with this wheat is that there's like an occasional corn kernel or piece of straw or something in there. But for that amount of cost difference, I don't care. So, all right, I think that's the chicken update. I do videos, but I have not been liking the videos I've been doing lately, so that's why I haven't been making any. I either A, need to get better at doing videos, as in my video quality needs to be better, or I just need to quit being too picky about the videos. So I'll start working on that. Oh, and I forgot to, the other day, we were at Walmart, and Andrea, it's like, let's get a couple of chairs and an umbrella and a little table, so then we can have our little chicken viewing area. Because Andrea and I have a tendency to just go out there and chill with the chickens for a little bit. And most of the time I just sit on the ground, and Sherlock will sit next to me. So now we got our little umbrella out there, we got 2 chairs, we got a little table. We got some citronella candles. I was actually out there at dusk yesterday. Normally the bugs love me, but the citronella candle did its job. Now granted, there was no wind, but I didn't get bugged to death, and I was there all the way till dusk. So I call that a win. So yeah, now we have our little chicken viewing area. We might expand upon that later, but that's good enough for now. So I think that's about it for the chicken stuff. Soon as they start laying eggs, then of course we're gonna capture that. Andrea got these things where you can take the stuff out of the inside of the egg but still preserve the shell. So she tried that on some regular eggs and they seem to work. Supposedly, until their insides get fully developed, the first eggs they lay might look kind of weird. So Andre definitely wants to keep those. So yeah, we're getting excited. They should be close to laying. And if that's the case, then they can actually start doing what they're supposed to be doing. There we go. Somebody figured it out. Took them less than 10 minutes. They are smarter than the average chicken. So they know where their food is now. Because they say if you can get one of them to do it, the rest of them will go, oh, that's what we do. So I knew they would smell the food and they should be able to figure it out. So, all right, with that being said, I'm out of here, and hopefully it won't be too long before I do the next video.